The letters were always red. Open
Yeah.
on top, house on the bottom.
Yeah.
I mimicked it. I then took where it says open and I put Angel, and the bottom was Patty. Same font as those signs. So while everybody else was putting up their open houses that said open house, mine were the same color. People thought it was me all over the place. Leverage. So, and that's what I did with every single market. Then there was the mail-outs. But in every single market, you always have to have what's called an irresistible offer. Then I teach them, once you get the appointment, there's the DISC personality. You got 4 personalities. So when you meet with the client, you got to figure out what personality, and I have created the tools for the last 25 years that I had no idea. They're not on the market. I'm the only one that has this because I created them. So with those tools, I'm able to teach my agents how to excel and beat the other agents, not beat, but at least lock down 90% of the inventory, right? Which follows then, you're able to determine which DISC personality you're dealing with the client.
Welcome to another episode of Unleash Your Power. This is your host, Jeffrey Pinzon. First and foremost, I want to thank every single one of you guys that have tuned into our previous podcast. Greatly appreciate you guys taking the time. I hope you guys are getting massive value from these interviews because my intention behind all this is to provide value for you guys and also examples of people that are making it happen, right? That are thriving in business and life with family. And today, there's no exception. We have the pleasure of interviewing Angel with Angel and Patty. And a little bit about them, right? They've been in business for over 35 years. They've been over 3 recessions, right? Not only 3 recessions, but thriving every recession, improving their quality of life. They do about $180 million in real estate sales yearly. So you guys are in for a treat because we're gonna be able to tap into their mindset, the way that they operate their business and their family. So I'm super excited of having Angel. Thank you so much for being here, my man. Thank you for taking the time. I know today has been really busy for you. But Angel, let's get right into it. Let's go back a little bit back when Angel was in high school. What was your upbringing? How was that all about?
When I was in high school, interesting story. So I remember I'm going to graduate, right? Counselor, it's graduation day. I'm walking through, the counselor called me over. My mom has to go with me. So counselor starts talking to us and she goes, "You're not going to graduate." "What?" She goes, "You're half a credit short." My mom looks at me and she's so angry. And so they say, "We're going to let you walk to get your diploma, but it's going to be blank." So we go through the walk. After it was done, everybody runs to their family. And I'm telling you this part because my mom gets a lot of credit. We walk up and it's done. Everybody comes around. I threw my hat. I lost it, by the way. I couldn't find it. I don't know where. It must have hit somebody on the head. I picked up someone else's hat and it said blah, blah, blah on it. Okay.
Right.
So now I tell my mom and my dad and my sisters are all around me and I said, "What'd you guys get me for graduation?" My mom goes, "Pinche pendejo, I deserve a graduation present.
Nice.
I got you through." So truthfully, my mom was the inspiration that pushed me through because throughout high school, I didn't listen. I couldn't stay focused. And, my mom gets all the credit. So in high school, that's all I'm going to tell you. I wasn't a gang member. I was just a normal kid.
So what habits, what great qualities that you get from your mom? What are some stuff that you learned throughout the process?
It was both my mom and my dad. Their qualities, they have a lot to do with my life. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So when I was young, I wasn't a focused individual. So I remember, I'll tell you this part. My dad calls me over because I was a computer operator at the time and going to community college. That'll be one of the other questions. But my dad says to me, "Hey, come here, Angel. I want you to walk my real estate agent outside. We're immigrants. They brought me when I was 4 years old. My dad is from Mazatlan. My mom is from Guadalajara. So my dad sits me down and says, "I need you to walk this real estate agent out and ask her about her career." So I walk her out. And at the time, I didn't know how to read body language. It's not who I was. And I was a kid. I was probably 20 years old. So we're standing outside, I remember, on the curve, and she says to me, "Angel, what do you want to know?" And I said, I'm looking at her, and I'm not really knowing what to say. I said, I'm going to describe the car she was driving. It was a Volkswagen. It was red, right? This is 1984, 85. That Volkswagen was probably a 72 Volkswagen. It needed a paint job. The bumper was rusty. And all I could think of was, how much money do you make? Back then, I was making $18,000 a year. And I didn't know how to read body language. She kind of looked flustered. And she looks at me and she says, $70,000. $70,000? I'm going to be a realtor. So I became a realtor after that, right? I ran into her 4 years later. And I said to her, I want to thank you for telling me, about your career. She starts laughing. Why are you laughing? She goes, your dad told me if I can persuade you to be a realtor, that he would buy a house for me. I had not sold one house. I just got my license.
Wow.
And I said the same thing. Wow, well, thank you. But on that part of the story, you asked about my parents, right? My dad is not a very smart man, but that's how he got me into, he had to figure out how to get me into real estate. There's one more story my parents were great at getting me motivated somehow, some way, with whatever they can do, being that they're immigrants. He says, when I was getting my real estate license, I started to move, right? But like all of us in life, we lose the motivation. I lost the motivation while I was doing my license. And I remember I had a job and I was going to stop going to community college and get a second job, right? My dad goes, well, you're going to pay rent. Well, why, Dad? I want to buy a fancy car. Well, no, he's trying to teach me responsibility. He says, come here. He says, we sit down in the kitchen and I want you to visualize. The kitchen walls were yellow. The stove was yellow, right? The table was yellow. That's what I remember. And the chairs were yellow, right? Old school stuff, right? That was back in the day. And my dad says, I'm going to tell you a story. Sit down. I go, yeah, Dad. He goes, there was a tree, and in this tree, there's a nest. And there's a mom bird and a dad bird. Okay. Well, they have a baby bird. And one day they get that bird and they push him off. And it starts to fly so fast down that the moment it hit the floor, or it was going to die, or it was going to be eaten by something. So I look at my dad and I go, okay, well, what's your point? He goes, when are you going to learn to fly? Oh. Impact. That was one of the moments in my life that I said, wow, your dad, because I'm 19, 20, I don't even know how old I was, but I wasn't getting it. That opened up my eyes, and that was the moment that propelled me to take off and just change my life. And through there, I started listening to mentors as we went throughout life. But that was me. My parents truthfully get all the credit for making me the person that I am today.
That's interesting because not that many parents, they want you to go get a job, a good paying job, right? He was pushing you to become a realtor, whereas commission, right? It's up to you.
I don't even think he knew what he was doing, to be honest with you. He just heard me say I was going to stop working, stop community, and get another job. So being who he was, he tried to figure out, and I think he just did that by accident, But that accident was a great accident because it really changed me and it made me who I am today.
So after that message that he told you, when are you going to learn how to fly, right? When are you going to fly? What changed? What habits did you start attacking different? So
throughout that I'll take you back just a little bit more. So now I am a realtor, okay? So this is 1988, okay? Many of you guys are not going to remember Miami Vice. The 80s were a great time, right? So part of that job was I was making the $18,000, and the reason I wanted to quit and go into community was to make a little bit more money because I wanted a fancy car where the roof comes off, right? So what ended up happening was I was succeeded. I got my real estate license in 1986, right? My momentum is running now, and my regular job was giving me $18,000, and my real estate business was giving me $150,000. Here we are now. This is 1988, 1999. We're making some really good money, right?
Absolutely.
My beautiful wife, Patty, was my part of my inspiration, right? But the other mentors, by the way, one of my mentors was Bob Archuleta. Today he's a senator, right? And he was one of the first ones that always told me, every problem has a solution, always. And that was one of my first mentors. It stuck to my head. I would panic, and he goes, calm down. Every problem has a solution. That was my second mentor. Here we are now in 1990. That was my first shift ever. Everybody's losing their homes. I never did, but that was the moment that I realized I needed to start listening to others mimic successful people. And it took me a year to figure that out. Because in 1990, 91, everybody was losing their everything. In 1992, I figured it out. And from that day to this present day has made me a different person by listening to others. So my dad, Bob Archuleta, followed other mentors.
Wow. And how did you and your significant other connected?
My wife?
Yeah.
She's my boss. And Patty's, that's my boss, But, how we connected was, you want to know how we met?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Who picked up on who?
All right. So that's a good story. So I am not a very tall person, right?
You're my height.
So we back in the day, I had just turned 21. I go to a club named Michael's. That's the club. That was the club to go back in the day. I am in this club and I'm looking for people my size. Oh, there's one right there. I walk over, she declines me. I walk over to the next one. She was already being asked by someone else. Then I see this beautiful lady in the corner, and she was wearing an outfit like she had just come out of work. So I go, well, I'm strike one, strike two, let's go give it a shot. I go talk to her and I say, hey, Patty, look, I don't even know her name, take that back. So we start to talk, right? And she says, yeah. So we start to dance, and great relationship. Patty and I, at that point, we would talk probably for about 3 weeks. We never really went out. We would just talk on the phone. And now I am at a second club called the Red Onion, okay? And this is how we met. We met at the first club. I'm at the Red Onion, and I'm walking, and at the back then, I was not a realtor yet, trying to get a license. And what ended up happening is that we were part of a car club, right? So it's about 6 couples, I'm leading, and I'm holding this girl's hand, and this girl's walking my way, and she goes, hi, Angel. And I'm looking for her, and I can't recognize her. She went from dressing as a conservative person to the way girls were dressing at the clubs. And I look at her, she goes, it's me, Patty. While I'm holding the other girl's hands, I look at Patty, and I said, where are you going to sit right now? And she goes, I'll be at the bar. I'll be right back. I went to go sit the girl down. Her sister's cussing me out, and I walk over and I tell Patty, so what are you going to be doing tomorrow? Oh, I'm going to go with my brother, and I'm going to go buy some furniture. Can I come along? Wow. That was the beginning of our relationship. Patty was such she had not gone out to a lot of clubs. She was what I consider, she'd never been out in the club scene. So I started talking to her. Our relationship was so good. But what I found out about Patty is she really should have been a sports announcer. She knows everything about sports, and she's the one that teaches me. That's why I said she's my boss.
Interesting.
So that's how we met.
Wow. And how was that? Like, now you guys met, did both of you guys get licensed at the same time?
No. So I became licensed in 1986, and I believe Patty got licensed somewhere about 1994, somewhere in there. Because what was happening is I've always looked at the shifts. Remember, 91, I had to figure it out. So 92, we became REO agents, right? That's when I realized, and I needed help. So then I asked Patty, who was a processor, if she would come work with us, work with me, and help me do a lot of the stuff that we have to do. Somewhere in that trend, I think, Patty, come back on that. Patty, when did you get your license?
1992.
1992. And that's how Patty ended up picking up her license. So ever since then, we've been in a dynamic duo. And if you need to know, I think it wasn't until 1997 that I realized the market, there was multiple shifts coming in. Remember, the first one was 1990. The second was in 2000. Mm-hmm. But I realized that I needed to shift again prior to that, because I knew it was coming somehow, don't ask me, I created the brand. That's when I started putting Angel and Patty as their brand. And that's how it was born. So.
Yeah, because I drive Whittier, all that area, and I see you guys everywhere.
Kids
guys,
today, like your age, right? Back then, when you were young, 10, 12, you'd sit in the backseat of your car and you'd see the Angel and Patty sign. So today, millennials have said, I saw your signs growing up. I saw billboards. It's an illusion. They think they saw it, but what they were really seeing was just a little sign that said Angel and Patty.
Yeah, that's stuck. And the
It's stuck.
subconscious mind.
It's stuck.
You're owning real estate in their mind for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So let me ask you this, Angel. Now that you study in 91, right? You study the recession. You find a way to pivot and benefit from that recession. How did you prepare for the following one? What did you do different? What were some stuff that you were implementing?
We've always adapt. Always. We've always adapt and we've always improvised. Every single market. I'll give you an example. Between 1986 to 1990, I handled buyers and sellers. Between 1991 and 92, I had to refigure where was the market, and I did. So between 92 and 97, REO was the way to go. We handled multiple properties, but that ain't gonna last forever. I was listening to mentors. So in 96, I started to prepare for another shift because they happen every 10 years, right? So in 96, 97, we started mailing out. I was mailing out 40,000 letters a month.
Wow.
To continue. So when the shift occurred and REO was slowing down, everybody was going in, we started to do a lot of retail clientele through mailouts. In 2000, the next shift hit, right? But it was a short one because then 2000, remember 2001, 9/11 happened?
9/11.
All right. So that just rebooted and kicked the market off. So here we're going. And that's when I reinvented myself because the letters weren't enough. And we came up with open houses, right? And the open houses started in 97. But I had so many listings, I didn't have the staff to be there. So what we did is we put signs that say we'd be here in 15 minutes. Okay. And then I had to reinvent myself, and we put what were called talking houses. You pull up, and it says tune to AM, FM, any radio station, and you hear the commercial from Patty talking, myself, or a team member talking about the house, right? So we'd have maybe 10, 15 of these open houses at any given time, branding the name. Remember, we're talking about the shift. So in 2001, we had to reshift again, and we came up with... what was it? Here, I wrote it down. Bad memory. What was it? We did the open houses. We did the mail-outs. Then we had to go on to Facebook, right? So every market we've been watching where we needed to be. By the way, the open houses, just to give you an idea, do you remember the signs? If you remember, they were white and they said open house.
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm. The top part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The letters were always red. Open on top, house on the bottom.
Yeah.
I mimicked it. I then took where it says open and I put Angel and the bottom was Patty. Same font as those signs. So while everybody else was putting up their open houses that said open house, mine were the same color. People thought it was me all over the place. Leverage. So, and that's what I did with every single market. Then there was the mailouts. But in every single market, you always have to have what's called an irresistible offer. An irresistible offer is someone sees the 1 second line that you have, and then the client will give you a call. So all my life, since 1992, we've had what's called an irresistible offer, and that's where we get all our clients. By the way, the last time I represented a buyer was 25 years ago.
Wow.
All I represent is homeowners. So I am a listing agent, and everybody out there, that's what we need to become, is listing agents. That's our future. You know, today is the baby boomers. Today is the baby boomers. Baby boomers, I think, is 1947 to 1964. Okay? I'm a baby boomer. I'm one of the younger ones. But right now, millennials do Instagram, and you gotta hit those guys because they're the ones that are going to be looking for a realtor to sell their parents' home if they're too old. So that's why now I do Instagram, which by the way, mine is Angel and Patty _real estate. I do millennials to make sure if I miss the parents, the kids. Yes. And that's why we keep adapting in every single market. And to this point, we haven't failed. And in 2016, right? Now where are we at? 2012, for the last 12 years, we've had to shift our market, and we do what we do now. And we used to move what we did every 3 to 5 years. Now I shift everything we do every 3 to 6 months. It happens so fast now. So it wasn't just not long ago, I met a couple of influencers that I verify people's numbers. If you tell me I did this much, I Google their first and last name and I put Zillow behind it. And it tells me what their real production is, because Zillow tracks everybody.
Numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie. If you Google me, Angel and Patty Hernandez Zillow, right, you'll see that I have, I think, 18 listings right now. You'll see that the account is 10 years old. I have about 2,570 sales. When you divide that by the 10 years, that is over 255 transactions every given year. My average price is $800,000 times 2%. I make over $4 million in real estate commission alone. So I can verify my numbers. So when I go check the influencers, I go, dude, you've only sold 3 properties. Makes sense?
Right.
So that's how I've managed to survive every single shift. I'm always looking ahead. What's coming? What's next? So
what were some painful moments in the process, right? What were some challenging moments that really challenged you, right? Not only mentally, but even financially, right? Did you have some in the process?
The only time we really came across that one was due to the 2007 shift. All right, the 2007. Remember, Countrywide went under in 2008, and so did First Magnus. Right, we had no financing available. So I thought the solution was going to be bank repos again, right? So I went back into that market, and it hurt me financially because we were having to pay for everything up front. The servicers were taking a big portion of the money, and it just wasn't making any sense. And the retail side of it, we had kind of slowed down on it. So that was the first time that it kind of hurt just a bit, right? And immediately I reshifted, restructured, and we took off once again. But that was the one moment where it was slightly painful, but today I won't do that again. Because today,
how long was that process?
It was 2008, 9, and 10 is when I figured out I got to get out of this world. And it cost me a relationship with a really good friend of mine that I thought I had him partner up with him because I said, it's going to be rocking and rolling like the last time. I was wrong. We barely got out of it. So in the end, I think that business, I probably lost maybe $10,000. It wasn't that bad, but I restructured and took off again. And now what I've done is for the real estate side, I've created multiple sources of always bringing business. So if this side slows down, we still have more coming in. Not to mention, we're also real estate investors. We flip and we hold. So I have those sources. And now I've created another company called The Listing Agent, right? And the listing agent gives me additional revenue. So not only is my real estate business, it gives me multiple funnels of leads coming in. And when I say leads, I mean sellers. Then we also have our real estate. And then we also have the new company, which is, by the way, helping realtors mimic. I don't coach. It's just showing them what we do from A to Z so they can mimic what we do. I don't want to see realtors this time around get out. When I did the REOs, we were taking back realtors' houses, doctors' houses. It was ugly. By the way, that's why in 2007, I said, I'm not going to get back into the REO. It's too stressful to see people do cash for keys. I'm done with that. So.
Wow. mentioned right now your real estate has different streams. What are those streams?
So, for example, at the moment we have where we run Google Ads. That's a source, right? We have open house campaign. I probably spend $4,000 because I have vans, I have drivers, I have staff that I got to pay, insurance, fuel. Fuel went up, by the way. We used to have 4 vehicles, now we have 3 where they go on, they put signs up. I have additional branding because I have my team out there. I have a team, right? I'm not there. I'm not at the open house, but I let my team, people walk in, I taught them what to look for when a client walks in. I'll give an example. You're an open house, right? Remember, source. Mm-hmm. Somebody walks in, I make sure, your name is? Jeffrey? What's your last name?
Pinzon.
What city are you coming from?
Irvine.
Hey, well, welcome to Whittier, blah, blah, blah. So, did you already sell your house?
I have.
No, I'm sorry. I say, how much did you sell your house for?
Oh, I haven't bought a house yet.
But if the answer is, I haven't sold it yet, boom, I just got a seller. That's a golden nugget, guys. You follow? And that's what I've taught my agents, how to capture people. That's why my agents, I teach them how to brand themselves, how to capture sellers. Now, let's just say that you said you haven't sold your house, but I can't get an appointment from you. It doesn't matter. I go to True People Search, right? And I look up your number. If I got it, it gives me where you live. And if I don't get that, then I go to the tax record and I pull up. You follow? So I that's another source, right? Then I make sure I am in every single Google. When you Google realtors in whatever city, I make sure my name is in everything. Even though we're not going to get the lead, but the baby boomers, that's how they find you. So, and there's more sources. And I cover that. I give those classes every Tuesday from 10 to 11. Now, people ask me, why do you tell everybody what you do? I need to show realtors what we do because realtors are my future. You're going to have someone that you're going to want to refer my way because you couldn't sell it. This coming market, if realtors don't know how to price properties right, they're going to expire. And that's where they're going to call me before they lose it, and I'll pay a 25-30% referral. But you see, that is my new source. I did it 10 years ago. I used to go out and talk to people, and I used to get a lot of referrals, so that opportunity is opening up again, and there's more sources. So you see what I mean? Absolutely. There are multiple funnels. By the way, I only pay Zillow $1,065. I used to pay Zillow, I think it was like $15,000 a month. But I had a different contract.
Wow.
They changed
They changed.
Yeah. My contract was every listing I got, the call would come to me. They changed it on me. Now they sell the zip codes. So instead of offering, giving Zillow $15,000, now I tell every seller, give me an opportunity to meet with you and I'll pay you $100 at no obligation. It's cheaper.
Of course.
It's if I get 10 appointments, how much is that? $100? It's $1,000, right? Well, I do 220 appointments in a given year. So how much is that? Times $100. 22,000? It's still cheaper. Yeah. You have to think outside the box as realtors. And no matter what business you're in, solar, lenders, title reps, insurance agents, all of us, we're in the same boat. We just have to think outside the box because this is our business. How do I get the phone to ring? Yeah. And that's what we do.
I love that. And I love that you're constantly sharing with everybody, right? You don't come from a scarcity mentality where you want to keep all the golden nuggets to yourself. You're actually sharing it with others, right? And the fact of the matter is that not that many people are going to take that action, right? Yeah. There's only a certain percentage of people that are really going to step up and they're gonna take that action.
And I really hope that this time around everybody takes action. We have to. This coming year, realtors are going to go get jobs. Lenders are going to go get jobs. Everybody's going to leave if they don't change their mentality. And the problem is that a lot of people don't want to, how can I put it? They think they know everything. Mm-hmm. And they won't open themselves up. I hear everybody. You tell me something, I'll listen to you. I'm not arrogant. I'm not a stupid man. I'll hear what you have to say, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to learn something from you. Coming in here, I told you, I'm going to learn from you. You do great podcasts. I went through all yours. Right? I said, don't make me cry. So my point is that at the moment, I'm learning. You're interviewing me, and I'm learning from you how to do this. So thank you.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Means a lot. So yeah, Angel, going back to you sharing with the people. Can you touch a little bit about that new business that you have?
Absolutely. So what I do is on my webinar from 10 to 11, I teach people how I get my free lead sources, how I get people to see me with my free lead sources. I show people how I utilize paid sources, right? Now you have those two components. Then I show people the tools that I utilize to get these people to first to get them to call me, how I manage it, and how we do what we do. Then I teach people, when you go to a listing presentation, you're going to run into this. You have three types of realtors. You have the one realtor that's so charismatic. They're beautiful people, okay? That's one. The second one you're going to run into is the realtor who has the scripts, right? And the data, that all the gurus tell you what to do. Right. And then the third realtor you're going to run into is the one that's well known in the community. The dangerous one is the one that has all those personalities. So what I teach people is when you go to a listing presentation, you got to know what you're competing with, and you have to be able to deliver to stand out amongst the rest. That's the next part. Then I teach them, once you get the appointment, there's the DISC personality. You got 4 personalities. So when you meet with the client, you got to figure out what personality, and I have created the tools for the last 25 years that I had no idea. They're not on the market. I'm the only one that has this because I created them. So with those tools, I'm able to teach my agents how to excel and beat the other agents. Not beat, but at least lock down 90% of the inventory, right? Which follows then, you're able to determine which DISC personality you're dealing with the client. You're that far. Now you've delivered way differently than everybody else.
Now you're speaking their language.
Now you're speaking their language, and it's to the point where they're sharing everything with me. They're just throwing it out, and they say, wow, the other guy didn't show me that. Wow, blah, 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 blah. So that's what I teach people, on my Tuesday class, and I also have it on Thursdays.
What motivated you to start that?
It really what happened is I've always done it, but not everybody listens. So what kind of made me do that is that the world runs on energy. I give to you, it comes back. I give to them, it comes back. So God has blessed me and my wife, and the blessings just keep coming my way. As long as I put good energy out, the energy comes back.
Absolutely.
Isn't that the name of my drink?
Yeah. So, it's giving you energy, right?
Yeah.
No, and I love that because your energy is phenomenal, man. Like you're always giving. I remember with Lisa, all the events that you guys will put together. She had you a lot of events where you guys were some of the keynote speakers. And I remember, man, I was watching from afar, man. I was always a student watching from afar, looking at the way that you will carry yourself, present yourself, and you're always willing to answer all the questions that people will ask you. You were never afraid of keeping it to yourself, and that says a lot about the person that you are. So kudos to that, because that. You said it, man. It's energy. The more that you give, the more that you come back. It might not come from that channel, but somehow, some way, it's gonna come back to you, right? Somehow, some way, you might meet somebody that can connect you to another person, right? So on that, right? How important is relationships, right? Deepening your relationships, because I'm sure throughout your career, you've had really great relationships that has helped you get to next levels, right? Learning from people. You're always studying people, so. How is deepening relationships an important part of your business in your life?
When you say relationships, are we talking about affiliates or are we talking about
affiliates, people, mentors, all in general?
The interesting thing is that I think in the last 9 years, I think it's just the last year and a half I've come back out. But I think somewhere in the last 9 years, I really wasn't coming out. I really wasn't talking a lot. That would be Patty. Patty was the one holding relationships with the entire outside world. Where I was, I'd run my team and I'd run my relationship with the people inside. But I'll tell you this much. I realized that my affiliates that I work with, I need a really good relationship. I'll give you an example. When I have affiliates that don't help me, lenders that don't close my loans, it hurts my reviews. If I have a title company that can't close my transaction, it hurts my reviews. If I have a transaction coordinator who's not doing her job, it hurts my reviews. If I have team members that don't do what they're supposed to do, it hurts my reviews. My world works off of reviews. It's what we do. So what the part that I've never been able to fix is the real estate community. When things get heavy and I have a large inventory of properties and they're all calling me, so if I carry 30 properties at an active at any given time, and you got realtors calling me, 10 realtors for each property, I can't handle those calls. It would take me all day. So that's where my relationship got hurt with the outside realtors. So how I had to fix it was I then had to make people text and we would respond. But some realtors want to talk to you. So that's the part that it hurt my world of relationships. How I fix them, the last time around, is when I come out and I tell everybody what to do. Okay? And here I am today. For example, I did a podcast on Monday. I did a podcast this morning at 10. I was on a panel from 11 to 1 o'clock today, and here I'm doing it with you. I have another one on Monday, and I'm on a live event on December 2nd. Why? I'm making sure I give back super fast, because as my inventory grows, I need to make sure I fix my relationships with the real estate community. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Now people meet me and they go, wow, he's a really nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Am I a nice guy, right?
Absolutely. You mentioned that at the beginning, Patty was the one that was out there, the image, right, doing the speaking engagements. How have you guys complemented each other in the business, right? You guys have many different gifts combined.
Patty is the sociable one. When we talk on a panel and Patty's with me, everybody gravitates to Patty because she's a giving person and she's reachable. That's what we were talking about. Like all the panels that I've been talking, it's like people are afraid to come up to me, right? But they all go to Patty and they ask her, and we were just having lunch and people start crying to her,
wow,
as they share their stories. So together as a relationship, she is a large contribution. And on another part, I'll say this, when we're talking to groups of people and once it goes into the sports area, it is Patty answering all the questions. When we meet people, my mind is, sometimes I forget things and I don't remember people. Today, when we were on one of the panels, I remembered. One girl comes and goes, you don't remember me, right? And I go, Carmen? I remember, right? But Patty steps in, she goes, oh, I remember everybody, and she does. She remembers you, your birthday, your family, your cousins, your sisters. So that's how we complement each other.
That's awesome. That's something huge, right? Because now people, if she remembers that, you're going to remember that person forever. Because they're going to be like, oh man, she took the time to remember that birthday or whatever it is. So that's huge. I love that, man. So now, let me ask you this. What are some successful moments where you felt untouchable, like beyond powerful, beyond measure, that you've experienced in your life?
That's a good question. I don't know. I really have enjoyed my entire life, Put it to you this way. Look, I'm just grateful I'm alive today. I woke up and I'm here. I'll put it to you this way. Your question is, what have I felt to make me like I'm untouchable? It doesn't matter. Watch. I'll give you a little analogy. A Ferrari pulls up.
Mm-hmm.
The guy in a car looks over and goes, oh, I wish someday I can have that, right? Car is parked. A guy pulls up on a bike and, a motorcycle, and the guy on the motorcycle looks at the guy in the car and he goes, God, I wish I had a car, nice car, but I wish I had a car, right? Next to the motorcycle, a bicycle pulls up. The guy on the bicycle goes, God, I wish I had a motorcycle. You get the point, right? The guy on the bicycle is next to the bus stop, and the guy sitting at the bus stop goes, God, I wish I had a bicycle. So no matter what we have, we should be happy. The guy at the bus station who's sitting down gets up and walks into the bus. And the guy in the wheelchair pulls up with his wheelchair, goes, God, I wish I had legs to walk with. My point is, be happy what we have, okay? But it is up to you. It is up to all of us to go after what we want as a dream. And, so to answer your question, I'm happy with what I have. I am happy where I'm at. And everything that I've done in my life, what's come out of it, I've been happy. Just recently I did one function where it's always gone good and it was a failure. And I was down for like 30 days. Why did you make me remember? Oh my God. And I think for 30 days I was walking around, I was moping, and it took me, and it's at the same time that the market shifted. So two things happened at the same time.
Wow.
Right? And it took me just a little bit, and I rebounced, and here I am again, right?
So let's go there, right?
No,
no. People need to know that, right? People need to know how you get out of that funk. Because there's a lot of people that are in that funk, right? The market's shifting, they're having personal problems, they have a lot of crap.
I think I answered the question, and it was the analogy I gave you. I sat down and I said, why am I sad? And you just made me remember, it happened during one of the last cycles. In 2007, I was at a Tom Ferry event, right? And back then I had a small crew, and I was making, prior to that shift, right, I was making about $1.2 million by myself. Well, me and Patty. The boss is Patty. Okay? So what happens is now it's me and my son, we're at the event, Tom Ferry, and I'm looking for a coach. And I walk up and I talk to the coach, and I said, hey, the staff, I need a coach. So they gave me who they were going to assign to me, and I start Googling him. I go, how is this guy going to show me when I'm making more money than him? Well, we got this other guy, and I Google him, right? How is this guy? So then they take me up, and I'm now talking to Tom Ferry. And I go, this is what I'm looking. Can you guys help me? And he goes, we'll talk to you after the event. Now me and Kevin are sitting down, right, in the event. And the guy, Tom, goes up and he goes, hey, guys, I'm going to tell you something. There's a realtor out there that is hurting really bad. He's making $800,000 a year. Who would like his problem? Oh, my God. But see, I didn't realize I was a whole different level. I'm making 1.2. These guys are making 150, 200. But I was looking for solutions. And at that moment, I was down. But compared to everybody else, I was doing phenomenal. And that's when I go back to the analogy. Be happy with what you have.
Absolutely.
Be happy with what you have. But it's up to you, it's up to me, it's up to everybody to do what you got to do to take it to the next level, if you choose to do that.
And that's where discipline, consistency, persistence comes into.
Yes.
So how did you develop that discipline to continue moving forward 35 plus years in real estate, not shifting to another industry, like staying here?
All right. So Patty gets credit for this one. So we go to, I think we're somewhere about 1993, 94, maybe it was 88. We are at a seminar, and it was called, what was it called? Patty, what's it called?
Forum.
The Forum, okay? And when I was there, I didn't know I knew who I was, I know what I needed to do, and I'm talking to my immediate people, and I tell them my story, right? Why I am who I am. And from that moment, I made everybody in my group cry. They call over the supervisor, I tell him my story, I made him cry. So now they take me up in the panel of 5,000 people, and I tell them my story, and I made everybody cry. So during this seminar, I learned who I was, and I learned whatever I'm going to do, I have to follow through. And if you want to know why I made everybody cry, I got to read minds, right? What it was is that me growing up, my mom and my dad, my sister had a heart problem, and she was supposed to die. Thank God, thank Lord that she's still, she's good today. And I remember everything was about her. It was not about me. So we were so busy, always in and out of the hospital, that we never told each other we love each other. So growing up, I realized I hated my mom and my dad. Okay, I really did, because they never showed us how to hug. It was there that when I told them the story, we had to go deep down and see who we were. I realized I know what the problem is with my family. So I went to my family. I called my father in front of, I called my mom and my dad, and I said, guys, I love you. Nobody in our family had ever said that to each other.
Wow. So
I said, I love you. And my dad was speechless. I could hear him on the other side of the phone. And they didn't know what to say, right? So if you're going to make me cry, stupid.
Let's go.
Shit. So what happens next is during that moment, that's when I change each other. Now we see each other, we hug each other, and we tell each other, I love you. So for some families it's hard. When was the last time you told your parents or your family that you love them? Do you tell them?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely.
Okay, and many people don't, right? And I realized that was the weakness. So from that day forward, that changed me to who I was. And everything I do now, I follow through with it, okay? Which again follows with I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with what I have. I know there's others that have a lot more than I do, but I'm happy where I'm at. What I'm doing now is I'm giving back to everybody, right? And whatever I can give. But in return, energy will feed me back. So
absolutely. That would always take care of you. You take care of others.
Yes.
And
You're right now helping many.
Yeah.
I think by what you are doing right now, okay, and like I was telling you, I heard the podcast with
Hector Padilla.
Hector Padilla. I was like, wow, I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
But he's also giving back like crazy.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could see the delivery in what he is offering to others. So, you are helping many right now, and I hope this helps my message to the Realty community. You can't give up.
Yeah.
You can't give up. Be happy with what you have, but it is up to you to just tweak it. And I gave so many golden nuggets right now that I think if someone heard it and they implement it, they will succeed. So
I really hope you guys are taking notes, copious notes on everything that he's just sharing, because there's a lot of stuff that you guys could go out there today, right now, and implement it and start changing the trajectory of your life and your family's life. Because this information is useless if you don't take action on it, right? If you take action on it, it could be priceless, man, because there's a lot of stuff that he's been giving us right now that I'm learning right here as I'm hearing you, and everything that you've created for your family, right? Now you're building a business with your kids, your wife. How is that like? And before we touch on that, let's touch on scheduling, right? How is your schedule today compared to how was your schedule when you started, right? Because there's going to be a lot of realtors that are going to watch this interview that they're just getting started. They probably just got licensed.
Okay. Check this out. If I didn't already say this, when I first started, I'd go to work at night from 10. I did tell you this, right?
Yeah.
And I get off at 6.
Then you start,
I go to sleep at 7 and get up at 12 and get back into the real estate office at 1. That was my schedule, okay? And I would write it down in pieces of paper, my schedule. I knew exactly what I had to do. What follows is that somewhere along the line in 1992, I created what's called my agenda. And I would literally work a lot, a lot. Today, my agenda, it tells me I work 4 days a week. I work each day, gives me 6 hours of work and 3 hours for problems, okay? You got that? So the 3 hours is if somebody wants a listing appointment right now, I'm there, right? So, and my agenda tells me my money-making activities and my non-making money activities. This is a business, and we got to run it as a business.
Right.
If you own a restaurant, you're going to open the same hours, right? Then I have a report called the 669 report. That report tells me what I have my current inventory. It tells me what my future income is once it goes into escrow. Realtor. I'm a realtor, but I run it like a business. Then I have what, in this report, it tells me what I have in escrow and what's going to close during that time frame. But you see what I'm saying? I'm running a schedule, right? So, and I don't take lunch, by the way. I eat on my desk, okay? I'm there to work. I'm not there to socialize. And then what happens is that the report, the 69 report, tells me what I've closed for that month, what my profit was, and I've been doing that for 25 years. So my point being is my schedule is on the dot. And by the way, I still have a schedule. It tells me what time I'm going to go home, what time I'm going to work out, what time I'm going to eat dinner, and blah, blah, blah. It just breaks it all down. So that's how deep I go on my schedule.
And how do you incorporate family in your schedule?
So
with your kids being in your business.
To answer your question, the reason I work 4 days is me and Patty are the most expensive babysitters in Whittier, all right? Because, right, honey? We take Friday off because we have 2 grandkids, and we love them. So we spend Friday taking care of them, and trust me, that's harder than real estate. It is hard, man. It's so because they're so energetic. One is
how old are they?
One is 2, and the other one's 3.
Okay.
Right, but we've been doing this for a long time where we take care of them. But we want them to remember Grandma and Grandpa growing up. We were there and we took care of them, right? And that's that's why we take those. And then we enjoy our time. Patty and I have date nights, right? And then for the weekends, we're season ticket. Well, Patty bought the tickets for the Rams. Okay, so Patty's a Ram.
I see you guys all the time at the games.
Patty's the one that makes me like sports because she's the one that tells me what happens when we're at the Rams game. But that's where we really enjoy a lot of time. And then Patty and I, we have a house by the beach, and we spend a lot of time there. As a matter of fact, we haven't been there. We've been so busy doing all this stuff. We haven't been there like in 30 days, or I don't even know how long it is. For all I know, our Duffy boat probably sank. Nobody's called, so right, Patty?
But that's awesome, man. What are some stuff that you enjoy doing together, you two?
That's it. Date night. We do sports. As a matter of fact, today's date night. So usually we'll have.
You have that in your schedule too.
Yeah. And it's not always perfect. Things always come up. Like today, we're gonna go meet up some friends right after this at 6 o'clock. But I don't know if I have the energy. I'm so worn out today. That's why I got this. We're not showing the drink because we're branding your company right there.
Right. UYS Energy.
If anybody needs solar system, this is who you're gonna call.
That's right. We unleash that solar energy to people. Couple last questions, Angel. If you had to change something about these last 35 years, or if you had to do something sooner, what would it be?
You know, the biggest mistake we did was between 1995 and 1998, we should have bought a lot of real estate. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that was the best time to buy. And, you know, we didn't take advantage of it like we should have, right? During that time frame, I should have bought my building. We own a building now for our agents, right? And that was really through the help of my son. They pointed out, why are we paying rent? I think we were looking for a broker. We were going to go rent. It was $10,000. And my son goes, why? Let's buy a building. You're right. So, and then, you know, just recently, I think in the last 3 or 4 years, you know, I should have bought all those stuff back during that time frame because today it would be worth a ton of money, right? So I think for us, that's the one mistake. That's the one thing I wish I would have changed, you know, because today, all that stuff, you know, I was selling real estate when I was an REO agent for 150, 140. The beach houses were like 350, 400. It was like, wow, you know. But you know what's done is done. I'm happy with where we're at. We did good. So.
Yeah, you guys are doing phenomenal. You guys are doing really, really good. So, what keeps you going? Because you guys have done a lot of great stuff, right?
I love what I do. You know, we were just having that conversation. Attorneys and doctors, they keep going. Realtors, people just keep calling you. But I love what I do. If I didn't like what I do, then it'd be a problem. But I really enjoy it. You know, I go home and I turn on my computer and really I'm kind of looking for other agents, you know, that are doing more than me. And I mimic what they do, you know, or I call them or I stalk them, you know. Like right now I'm stalking influencers. You know, I Google, I find the influencer, then I Google to see if they got the volume, and then if they got the volume, then I start to see what they do and how they're doing their write-ups. Then I tell my team, we need to alternate and we need to do what they're doing.
So competitiveness comes out right there.
You know, it's not that it's competitive. I'm not trying to beat them. You know, I'm just trying not to reinvent the wheel. You know, somebody's already doing it. Why am I going to reinvent the wheel? I'm just going to mimic what they do. And that's what my company is. The listing agent is why reinvent it? Just mimic what we're doing. Right. And that's what I'm doing. So
what made you, because you just made a huge announcement, I believe it was last week or this week. Yeah, last week, right? What made you do that transition?
You're a good interviewer, man. Yes. Good question. Here's where it is, right? I always see the future, okay? So right now I'm a broker, right? I have my team. And every recruiter in town is calling everybody right now. That's what they're trying to do. So I saw the writing on the wall. There's 2 companies. There's EXP and there's another one called Rio. But it gives my realtors the opportunity to become mini brokers, right? So they're able to hire other agents, but put them under their wing. What I do is I'm able to teach whoever they bring what I do. Make sense? And I partner myself up with 2 other team members 4 actually, which they teach what they do, which they're influencers. Combined, we're able to now deliver what brokerages are trying to deliver to their agents. And I felt I'm able to help more people this way than my own brokerage, because I can go across the nation and help other agents succeed in their marketplace. Now, as me as an agent, right, I'm no longer responsible. As a broker, legally, I'm responsible for my agent. As a leader, I'm able to grow bigger, but someone else is legally responsible for the individual. Makes sense?
Leverage that.
So I saw the writing on the wall. I could take, with all the things that I do, I will make more money as an EXP leader than I will as a broker. At the same time, it allows me to teach each one of my team members, brand them, show them how to run their business, and help them recruit their downline, and I will help my agents make more money. So I saw the writing on the wall. We made that move. Not to mention, in the last 3 months, I realized what influencers are. You are an influencer. You say something, people listen to you because you have how many people?
70 something.
70 something. You were just telling me people, they pay you now, right? So I think the future is also going to be influencers. And that's another nugget. You all should be doing this. So one of my team members started another company, right? See how we think outside the box?
Right.
And, agents should be doing at least 25 posts on properties, on their social media.
Per property?
25 a month.
Okay.
You should be doing 25 posts. If you don't, but most agents don't have the time to do it.
Right.
So our other company, that's what we do. So we post properties for agents. Make sense?
Yeah.
So you have to think outside the box, but it helps others succeed where they need to be. So, sorry, I've gone on a rant.
No, that's phenomenal, because now you have your irresistible offer for your agents, right? Why they should join you, and at the same time now you're leveraging the EXP.
Oh, it was the EXP question.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now you're leveraging EXP. A lot of people won't make that jump because of ego, right? The ego will get in the way.
If anybody should have ego, it's me.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting
I
at,
mean,
right?
when I made the change, right, Patty? Everybody was saying, Angel is EXP. I went to a couple events and there was a lot of influential people there. And someone in the conversation, I remember the individual, they're talking. She goes, yeah, Angel is EXP. The guy's mouth goes, you're EXP? I go, and he asked me that, why? So I gave him a quick breakdown. And then as we're talking, the wife comes up and she goes, Angel, I thank you so much. I saw you in another panel and you're blah, blah, blah. And then the husband goes, he's EXP. Same reaction. You're EXP? So if I made that move, it's because I see the writing on the wall. It is the place for me to be for my next move. Yes, I work 4 days a week, but soon it'll go to 3 days a week. You follow?
Right.
Because I'm still able to teach my team members. This past Friday, there was a listening appointment. I couldn't make it, so what I did is I sent my team members, and they delivered just like I do, even better, because they're utilizing what I teach them and the tools that I do. So.
Wow. That's phenomenal, man. So you mentioned about your moves. What are your next 5 moves?
Well, those are it. So right now, the moves that I've done is we've launched a company, right, which is the listing agent. We are now EXP, and the goal is to be you. You have 70,000 people following you. That's my next goal. I need to be at 100,000 in 1 year. Okay? Why? Because my baby boomers, they're going to see me on the land, and I need the millennials to see me as an influencer by providing content that they want to see. And my content is on what I'm utilizing. And by the way, I'm not doing it. I hired a company, As a matter of fact, I'm becoming an influencer. I brought my own videographer right down there in that corner. Well, he's not being filmed, but, we're filming, and he's filming for me too, to add content so when we deliver, to our community.
And you have massive value that people are going to be able to gain. Like, there's a lot of people that know a lot of stuff, but they're not getting into that space, right? Or putting themselves out there. And the fact that you guys are doing it and you guys are committing to it, getting your videographer here, like you guys are going all in, man. And
you and I are on the same panel on December the 2nd, right?
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
So you're gonna have your own video crew there?
Absolutely. There's gonna be a bunch of cameras everywhere in that thing.
So we just had an event on November the 4th, right? And during that event, there must have been, I don't know, 10 crews. A lot of people showed up with their videographers. It was and I turned to my team, I go, did we hire all these videographers? No. What happened is everybody was coming in because it's a new world. Everybody is now trying to be an influencer and build content for their Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
it's getting good, man. I'm excited for the future. The future definitely looks bright. So one last question. If you had to choose between loyalty and respect.
So I saw your question, right? Because I read it. And I was having lunch with Annabelle. And I asked her that question. I already know my answer. And it's interesting because she answered the same way as I did. But mine would be loyalty. And the reason it would be loyalty is because people got to love you. And people got to like you. Once you get the loyalty, respect follows. If they respect me, it's because they're afraid of me. And I don't want, I prefer loyalty. My entire staff that I've had them for years because the loyalty's there. I give it to them, they give it back to me. With it comes respect. So for me, it's going to be loyalty.
I agree.
What about you?
Yeah, loyalty, same thing.
Why?
Because if you have the loyalty, the respect will follow.
And you copied me.
It will follow. And I'd rather have somebody that is loyal no matter what. And I posted a quote the other day on Instagram that it said, you really know the people that are around you when challenges occur. You really know who's loyal, who's not. Because when everything is good, everything is rainbows and everything, like everybody's going to be there, they're going to be applauding. But when things hit the fan, you really see who's really there for you.
Right on the money.
So loyalty takes you there. Right?
I love it.
Loyalty will keep those people there and go through the ride with you. So definitely loyalty. So Angel, I want to thank you for taking the time, man. I know your schedule is busy. Where can these people that are watching the video, that are going to be listening to this podcast, that are going to be watching the podcast, where can they follow you? And any last words that you want to share with them?
Yes, you can follow me and Patty at Angel and Patty _real estate. Okay. And on there, we give content that I would encourage you to copy. Really, you got to copy. But here's what I'm going to tell you. For the realtors out there, for the title reps, for the insurance company, whoever you are, okay? But if you're in the real estate community, listen to what I just said. If you're a title rep or loan officer, take that content and you got to teach your realtors. Because right now, realtors need help. And if you can take the content and you absorb it better, show your agents how to deliver. The buyer's agents, the listing agents, they need our help. And through the help of affiliates, we can get everybody there. For the realtors, I'm going to tell you right now, if you didn't hear me, you need to log on to Google. And wherever you type top realtors in the city, you need to make sure you're in every single item there. That is critical. You need to get the Google reviews and Zillow reviews today ASAP. Those are the things I'm going to tell you what you need to do. And what follows with that is, if anything, start hitting 20 doors. If you don't have a lot of money, hit 20 doors where people answer, knock. And you do this 4 times a week in a given month, you're going to build clients. They may not be ready today, but at least you start nurturing. So in 6 months, you're going to start making money. Yeah. That's what I would do. And then have open houses. We have so much traffic coming through. And if you ask the question that I said earlier, what's your first name? What's your last name? What city you're coming from, right? And then if you get the phone number, you use True People Search to pull it, followed by you go to the tax rec and you pull them up. Your business will start to grow. That's what I got to tell people. And I'm ending it with that because I said so much, it's going to be hard to remember all that. So I kind of summarized it to the end.
Awesome, guys. Well, there you have it, man. Make sure that you guys share this podcast with anybody that you guys may feel that will benefit from this. I hope you guys took a lot of notes. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification button, and we'll see you guys next time on our podcast. Thank you so much. Angel, my man, appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys.
Bye,
Have a
everybody.
great day.